Hello, everybody. I just want to start out this iteration of the So I've Been Thinking podcast. I just want to wish a happy International Women's Day. I'm late. By the time this comes out, it'll be past, but I just want to make sure y'all know. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Women's History Month as well. This episode, I'm going to start making these shorter until I'm able to put myself in a situation where I can make this whole content setup much more inviting to the eye. So this episodes are going to start being a lot shorter unless I just have a whole lot that I really feel like I got to get off my chest. So I'm going to give a couple of shout outs, and after I give those shout outs to Black women that I know and that I appreciate, I'm going to immediately jump into the story of Mutsimiuna, Lacey E Parsons, and Boqorada Arawelo. These are three Black women from different time frames in history. I'm going to tell Arawelo's story first. I'm going to tell Mutsimiuna's story second, and then we're going to talk about Lacey E Parsons last. Lacey E Parsons, not going to go into all that. Anywho, so the shout outs. I got a sister in Birmingham, UK, Ross Adventures. Username is SabbyX. I don't remember all the exact specifics of it. They're a youth worker. They worked in community over there. They've done some phenomenal stuff. They sent me a voice note. I can't even fucking remember everything. That's how like fire and dope they are. But if you want to get connected with them, their specific work they're doing to get us in the UK back connected with Earth Terra Firma, go on Instagram, go to Ross Adventures, RAS, and the word adventures. That's the ad name. They put out great content. The things they have to offer up and say are just, they're bomb. I be learning, so I'm trying to pass that on. This needs to get about my beard, bro. What the hell? Anyways, yeah, so then after them, next individual I want to shout out my homegirl Jennifer Peoples Hampton. She and I next week Wednesday are going to be getting onto TikTok, and we're going to be doing this a little quick something. Going to be posting a poll later to my Instagram, so y'all can help me figure out exactly what it is that we're going to be discussing once Wednesday rolls around. So keep it locked for that, because I definitely only want to really be addressing things that y'all are actually keen to engage on, and not just me running up my mouth. I'm not really trying to do that. But JPH, as I like to call her, they are a creative. They're an individual that's, I would say, definitely tapped into spirit. They've done a lot of youth work, and they're also a former veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. But their politic and their perspective is not one that's been colonized. I feel like they had a very, very, very specific plan, and as a result of that plan, following that plan, they're now in a situation where they're able to go out into the world and do exactly what it is that they want to do. So big up JPH. Y'all get a chance to hear from Jennifer Peoples Hampton shortly. And again, all these are individuals that if you were to go on social media and look them up, follow them, and tell them I sent you if you get a chance to interact with them, okay? And then another one, Joe Ikigai. Joe Ikigai and I met in 2019 in Indianapolis at the Young Democrats of America convention. We hit it off, and we've been fast friends ever since. Been some ups and downs and things like that, just having to navigate being connected to people that you can't really be in geographic proximity to, but they're very, very intelligent, very creative. Ikigai Productions. Joe Ikigai is what they go by on social media. They just had an event celebrating Women's History Month. I wish I could have been there, but capitalism and constraints, wasn't able to. So shout out to those three Black women. Much love, much respect, and I hope y'all are able to learn from them the same way that I'm consistently challenged, and I'm able to learn from them as well. So on to our quick history lesson, okay? Boqorada Arawelo is a almost mythical figure from Somalia, and she was known to have been an individual that, because her father didn't have a son, instead of the son taking over, she took over And she was supposed to have been brutal. A lot of the patriarchal, misogynistic bullshit, misogynoir they would have been dealing with at the hands of their fellow countrymen, she wasn't going for it. She's supposed to have ruled with an iron fist. Not like towards her people, but towards men that call themselves trying to act out. She'd be the type of motherfucker to castrate people, execute offenders of sexual offenses. She was no joke. No fucking joke. So, Boqorada Arawelo, look them up. There's a lot of other information online about them. I just want to give little tidbits so y'all can hear something maybe you've never heard before and go check it out. And then Mutsimiuna. Mutsimiuna was an indigenous sister that's actually responsible for cracking the head back of General Custer. When General Custer, defied all his experts' advice and decided to ride down in there and get his little ass byapped, that was her. I'm only doing this because I hate saying motherfuckers' names wrong. And indigenous languages are nothing like these fucking European tongues that we speak. I'm currently speaking. Mutsimiuna. There was a whole like lead up, okay, to her even being in a situation where she was finna crack bro's head back up. Her father or brother died because of this invasion and this incursion of American forces into their land. And to get her lick back, she basically was like, hey, I'll get him. I'll go down there and that's exactly what she did. A couple years ago, I want to say 5, 6, somewhere between 5 and 8, 5 and 10, something like that. Her people, her indigenous tribe, I'm kind of forgetting what it was. I'm pretty sure they're in the frame of the Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, that family group. One of those, and I apologize, I don't remember, but it's one of those. They ended up basically retelling the story of all that happened and really giving her props. And that's one of the, I would say that the joys of oral tradition is there's traditions that you can legit keep in house to where nobody but your people group knows. And that's okay, because everybody's history is not for everybody. Everything doesn't have to be this, everybody just got access and all the rest of that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. The thing with her story, though, it's like unfortunate to me, is they did all this fighting back against the American government, fight. And they ended up being like pushed to the brink of starvation and death. And unfortunately, she eventually succumbed to the exact sorts of things that a lot of indigenous revolutionaries faced when they were being forced onto reservations all throughout the United States. So rest in peace and power to Mutsimiuna. Thank you for fighting for your people, and thank you for being the kind of example of what that looks like in your context. So whatever you feel like you need to do to stand up for your people, do that shit. Just be smart. And last but not least, Lacey E Parsons. Group of black folks been meeting up for the last couple weeks, just discussing like different black radicals and their perspectives on things. She was a black anarchist, and she was a black anarchist that was initially born into fucking servitude, and AKA chattel slavery in America. Not a fun time. And we had a chance to read from her about like her perspectives on anarchism. And even though all of us, myself included, didn't necessarily fully agree with her findings, it gave me a chance to learn about a person that I knew nothing about. And I always enjoy getting to learn about our ancestors. She lived a long-ish life. She lived to 89, died under very mysterious circumstances. Arson suspected. Nothing was ever done to really avenge her, but such seems to be life in America, apparently. Yeah, but tireless advocacy from her early adult life until she, was quote-unquote old and gray. And yeah, so I'm appreciative to her for her efforts, being a part of the black radical tradition, being a person that left behind manuscripts and left behind all sorts of documentation so people could go and take their own journey within the black radical tradition. And I just want us to always and consistently remember that without black, brown, and indigenous women, these movements that we have would not exist. The Black Panther Party was 83% women at one point. Okay. So let's always remember to listen to, learn from, and center the black, brown, indigenous femmes in our movement Listen to them, protect them, be the kinds of individuals that are worth being in community with. Otherwise, step off. We don't need you around. Okay? Peace, love, power. Another episode. So I've been thinking podcast. It's in the books.